Christian is the chair of DSO. He is executive board member and the director for customers, markets, and territories at Enedis, the largest French distributor. His keynote speech will concentrate on evaluating the European effort to take the lead on the smart grid technologies. Christian, you have the floor, please.
Thanks, Roberto. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, dear colleagues. I think I can say, dear friends. I see a lot of friends all over the world. All of you connected now from everywhere in the world. Let me first wish you all the very nice and a very happy year here from Paris. Welcome to our second Global DSO Platform annual conference. Last year, we sat together to discuss the state of distribution grids. It was across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. We talked about investments, technologies, and strategies that we, the grid operators, need to favor the energy transition to serve at the end, our customers in a responsible, but also in an efficient way. This year edition prepared, and I would thank EPRI, Eurelectric, and EDSO. This year event is dedicated, is still, I would say, a challenging one first, since on top of the pandemic, energy prices soared to the top of the political, both at national and EU level, by member states and commission leaders here in Europe. The reason was an unexpected surge in natural gas prices coupled with insufficient renewable energy production. So gas and power prices spike in many countries here and over the world, causing outrage for customers and immediate concern and sometimes very strong reaction from politicians. We could say also all through the distribution system operator, we DSO are not implicated in causing the surge of energy prices. We remain, however, very concerned since this crisis poses a direct threat to the sustainability of the electricity sector and indirectly to the proper functioning of the European wholesale electricity market. More concretely, the rising energy prices led to increase in DSO's grid loss costs because the DSOs have to absorb the entirety of prices increases without the option of recuperating the cost from client or public resources who are the primary beneficiary of the increase of such wholesale energy prices. But maybe more importantly, the fear of blackouts is real among our end consumers, who in many countries are hardly affected by the increase of these prices. As you all are aware, DSO business model in Europe relies on tariffs set well in advance by our national regulatory authorities to finance investments, especially those investments we do need to tackle the energy transition. However, DSOs are frequently impacted by governance models and government measures. Therefore, it may occur, happens. Can you hear me? Yes? Yes, it may occur that authorities in some states can make political decisions to protect the customers by reassess this tariff or reassess some elements of this tariff. Consequently, the crisis urged us to consider how important it is to combine both market design and climate targets to elaborate on an affordable system for the end consumers while assuring the massive investments needed in the whole electricity value chain, from generation to the customer side through the grid network. So it is essential to develop these topics bearing in mind the current scenario in Europe. As DSOs, we are already managing smart meters and smart grids, giving households more control over their consumption. But the current increase in energy bills must not compromise, and there is a risk, must not compromise the electrification objectives, which remains essential to achieving the continent's carbon neutrality. How do we move forward with the priorities we identified? For this second edition, we turned our ambitions into impactful actions. For what we are here to share our experiences among global DSOs on how to contribute to net zero and set us collectively, on the right path towards their decarbonization. We have indeed the responsibility to seriously evaluate the climate change signals that have become now evident in the past couple of years, and get geared to play a decisive role in containing the increase of temperature around the planet, adopting those technologies, adopting the industrial strategies that allow us to consequently deliver on these targets in the long term. But more concretely, first, we had in 2020 and 2021 here in Europe the implementation of the clean energy package for all Europeans. Secondly, since June last year, DSO are finally rightly represented in the EU institutional framework by the so-called EU DSO entity. And thirdly, the Fit for 55 climate package aims to adapt our strategy in the face of the challenge of the century, for instance, with outlining of the gas package, the alternative fuel infrastructure, the energy efficiency directive. All that build up for one common goal, to become the first climate neutral continent by 2050. And you see that DSOs are at the core of this transformation. For the DSOs especially, the creation, I mentioned it, of the EU DSO entity is a great novelty. EDSO, Wiffer Electric, SEDEC, and Geode teamed up and combined our efforts to establish it. It is now the institutional counterpart of ENSOE, the aggregation of the EU TSOs, transmission operators. Now, as equals, we will deliver network codes and provide technical expertise. Such a cooperation framework is key to cater for an adequate framework for the evolution of the grids and their digitalization, and let's say smartization. Rapid and seamless dialogue, concrete dialogue between DSO and TSOs, initiated with determination and personal engagement by many companies, many great women and guys here, some friends around these events, me included, in the recent past, has already proved the most successful way to pave the evolution of the grids and the relative assurance needed to envisage bold investment plans. During 2021, last year, with the long-lasting, unfortunately, impact of the COVID pandemics, we all had to reassess some investments and plans. The leading DSOs present in this association, in the association I have the honor to chair, EDSO, have been able to react promptly, to react together. We shared our problems, we shared our solutions, evolving knowledge deriving from the pandemics, and we put in place a strong revision in investment needed, especially to increase connection and the pace we connect of renewables and some operational reshaping. Resilience is about the ability to respond also to cyber and physical threats and to mitigate the consequences of extreme weather events, such only to last year, such as wildfires in Greece. It was dramatical wildfires in Greece, and the floodings dramatically in Germany, in Belgium, annihilating grid infrastructure and hitting hard on the citizen. It also involves all the aspects of digital cybersecurity and robustness of our systems, from grid operation to the financial management and to the management of people on the field, as well as the customer data and history. So it deserves a global approach, a worldwide mutual early alert system, and a shared vigilant mentality and attitude to avoid in all our countries across the continents the risk of harmful blackouts and breaches in the systems. A study conducted by DSO, Eurelectric, and Deloitte Monitor showed that in the European DSOs, that we European DSOs would need to invest up to 400 billion euro in the next 10 years in order to have a fit for purpose infrastructure. Accelerated digitalization, infrastructure modernization, resilience measures, smart meters, full deployment, electric mobility management, innovative storage management, and flexibility management requires will ask for an increase between 50 and 70% per year of what was till now foreseen globally in Europe in the investment plans. Coming to the current policy discussion in Europe, we appreciate that DSOs have been strongly recognized in the Fit for 55 package as important actors in the energy transition responsible for the integration of renewable and the management of integrated energy system, supporting increasing electrification with customer at its core. Indeed, we must keep in mind the crucial role of DSOs within the new regulatory environment to facilitate the energy transition and to contribute to the EU climate objectives. It is important because we, DSO, are the ones which ensure at the end that all Europeans access a safe, reliable electricity. We are, at the end, we are the connectors between the ambition of the Fit for 55 package, the vision of an integrated and decarbonized energy system, and its implementation in Europe, in European cities, in our homes, in cars. We connect policy and concrete implementation to make that decarbonization a reality. You must count on us, our technical knowledge and our experience on the field. We have still 3 policy recommendations for the EU institutions. First, the energy efficiency of electricity distribution grids should be managed in a holistic manner, which places emphasis on the enormous potential of smart grids, smart meters, smart grids, globally speaking, and local system integration. Secondly, the new regulatory framework should mandate EU member states to encourage investment in electricity distribution network or electricity grid, globally speaking, including our friends from the TSO. The aim on this second recommendation is very clear. Facilitate the integration of renewable sources while supporting the security and stability of the network. And the third recommendation is a modal shift in transport towards electrical vehicle requires boosting the momentum of the connectivity of the grid, but also in its capacity to sustain the electrification of mobility. These 3 proposals carve a central role for DSOs, which will be tasked with managing a local energy system, a system which relies on energy efficient grids and services, able to integrate clean energy sources and flexibility services, and balances intermittent generation with increasing electrification of the sector, buildings, transport, etc. So along these efforts, sustained by an unprecedented investment, a strong digitalization, and the parallel enhancement of the related cybersecurity aspects is underway. My conclusion, net zero in the carbon footprint, net zero risk in the infrastructures and customer access to the most advanced services stay as 3 of the must-haves on this evolution. And I really hope, I think I can say we together really hope we shall include them in the standards we can all share over the world. Here in Europe, we, the European DSOs, are the backbone of the European energy transition. We will exercise this industrial responsibility in order to leave no continent, not a single country behind. I wish you a very good session and discussion. Looking forward to discovering many good practices among global DSOs today. And as has been mentioned by Roberto, tomorrow morning, a new session devoted to African grids development and expertise will complete the landscape that is becoming truly global. So thank you very much for your participation and commitment in this initiative. Thank you.